let's go ahead and hop straight in. Let's go and start with the Acolyte. So,
Hmm.
the Acolyte is going to be set before the Phantom Menace. Now, I have
Yeah.
not seen the leaked trailer. I know there is a leaked trailer for it, and I think maybe the people at Star Wars Celebration got to see it. So, Tony, if you're
Yeah.
still in the chat, you can let us know that. But very good vibes from that trailer. There's some big prequel vibes. I think there's going to be a little bit of High Republic to it as well, from what I've read. So I know like there's a Wookiee Jedi. I've heard that. So spoiler alert, there's a Wookiee Jedi.
That's pretty
Um,
awesome. Yeah.
and it's going to be a dark show. So I'm thinking it's going to be pretty good. And yeah, Tony says it's going to be good, and he has a clear video on his phone, wink wink, so it sounds like I'm
Nice.
going to get to see the trailer soon
There
at
you
some
go.
point. So that's
That's
awesome.
funny.
But yeah, what do you think about the show, Kevin?
I'm excited for it. I think the official synopsis is it's like a Padawan kind of gets back with her master and they're like investigating some crimes. And
Right.
we joked about it when I was talking about Attack of the Clones a couple weeks back, how watching the Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of detective arc where he's investigating Kamino. Like I
Yeah.
joked, I would love to see like a Jedi detective show. It kind of seems like that's what it is, right? It looks like they're going to be kind of trying to investigate what's going on with these crimes, and there's going to be some pretty dark things going on, like you said. So I'm pretty pumped about it. I think it'll be a really cool show. I think it's set towards the end of the High Republic, I think is what the information said. So
Right.
definitely different from anything else we've seen, which is cool. But I'm pumped for it. I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I think first of all, the political vibes of the prequels I think will probably be there. I
Yeah.
just finished the Plagueis audiobook, so I'm thinking I'm very in that prequel mindset now. So I'm hoping maybe there's like some similarities between the two, and you just kind of see the dark side slowly
Yeah.
rising as you kind of build up more and more and more. If it's
Yeah.
100 years before the Phantom Menace, which is what Star Wars Sith Talk podcast says, you're looking at around 35 years
Yeah, I think I
before
saw the same
the
thing.
yeah. So it's 35 years before the non-canon Legends novel, The Plagueis. So you're going a good ways back. I think it's going to be very cool. A lot of Under the Shadows type Star Wars
Yeah.
stuff.
And I'm predicting it's not going to end on a very happy note. Because you think about and now if they're trying to stick to movie canon, right? If they're trying to keep movie canon in place, right? When they're all sitting around and Qui-Gon says the Sith are back, and they're like, no. And I think it's is it Kiadi Mundi that says they've been gone for a millennia or whatever?
Yeah,
And so
the
they're
two
still
brain
operating
guy.
under the
Yeah,
assumption that the Sith have been gone for a long time, which makes me think
right.
in this show they're going to stay hidden and it's not going to end well for any good guys that are possibly coming in contact with them. So I'm excited for that. I think it might have a dark ending because once we get to the old Republic, it seems like they're still in the dark about the Sith. So I'm not expecting it to end happy.
Yeah, I'm hoping this is one of those shows where it's kind of similar, how to Empire Strikes Back is. Like the bad
Yeah.
guys just keep winning over and over and over. And I'm not expecting anything crazy, like huge Jedi Sith battles, cuz like you said, it has to stay kind of on the down low. So
Yeah.
it can't be these big, large scale Jedi versus Sith, but I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing some lightsaber battles, things like that maybe are missing from like the Mandalorian and Andor. I think it will get our force fix as far as all these Star Wars shows coming out this year.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be as much of a slow burn as like Andor was, right? Like Andor really spent time building up to bigger moments. I expect that it'll be a little faster moving than Andor was, but still, I do think it's gonna like you mentioned. I don't think it's gonna be a ton of action left and right.
Right.
But I'm looking forward to it. I think it could potentially be a really lore heavy show, like going back to the High Republic, and if it's possibly the Sith resurgence and that kind of thing. Um, I'm excited to see if they are able to inject some pretty good lore stuff in there too.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah,
I think when you
I'm really
get
looking forward to it.
I don't have, again, right, we don't know too much about what's going to go on with it. So I don't have too much to say, and I haven't seen the trailer yet, but I'm hoping I get to soon, Tony. But everything that I've seen gets me excited about it. The
Yeah.
director said like some wonky things about the history of Star Wars and things
Yeah.
like that. And whatever, directors can feel however they want about the world. As long as they put good Star Wars out there that feels like Star Wars, I'm going to be okay with it. Now, if we get here and like her ideas have gotten all into the show and it's like, come on, we're here to get away from stuff like that, I'll be pretty disappointed. But just from what I've heard, I think it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I think it'll manage to feel like Star Wars just through the presence of some of those key elements of the Jedi and the Sith. You know, Andor really missed a lot of that stuff. And so I know a lot of people struggled with it because it didn't quite feel like Star Wars for some reason. I get that. It was very
Yeah.
different from traditional Star Wars, but I don't know that this will suffer from the same thing. So we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. I don't it's not I think it'll have like kind of the storytelling vibes of Andor, but I doubt it's as boring per se. Like I like Andor, but boring is a thing that gets
Yeah.
thrown around there, and I don't know if that will feel that way.
Uh,
Austin, what is up? SPC Unleashed. Thanks for hopping in the chat. And I'm kind of with you on this. The Acolyte or Tales of the Jedi, those are the two I'm most excited about. I just know Tales is going to be good. Like you go to the steak
yeah.
restaurant, you order the filet, it's going to be good. Tales is going to be good. Like you know what you're going to get. So I may lean more safely towards Tales, but as far as cautiously optimistic, it's got to be Acolyte. And
And I'm
then
I'm actually he
Christopher,
said he's not interested in Skeleton Crew. I'm pretty stoked about Skeleton Crew. That's interesting.
I'm excited
There's
about all of
the
it,
cool
but
thing about it. I know the cool thing about it is really since last year they've started really spreading out the Star Wars amongst some different genres, which is really neat. And so if it's not your thing, you can move on to the next thing because they really are. I mean, they're really starting to vary kind of what they're presenting, which is really neat. It offers a lot of different types of storytelling and ways to kind of present these cool Star Wars things in this galaxy. So I'm loving that they're varying it so much. I think that was a good decision, and so
that really is a good point because I mean Andor is a genre of its own. Then you had Mando as
yeah,
like its own thing, and then Ahsoka gave us all of like the Rebels prequel feels. With
yeah,
Anakin, with all the Rebels characters. You got your animated and Bad Batch Tales of the Jedi. Like it's a very diversified portfolio at the moment. So I haven't
yeah.
really thought of it till now, but that's a pretty smart way to go about it. So everybody's happy at least once throughout the year.
I think you go back. I think Rogue One was like a safe test of those waters, right? They kind
Yeah.
of removed all the big Star Wars elements, right? There's Death Star, Vader's in there, but I mean, you lose all these legendary characters for the first time in a big Star Wars movie, and people loved it, right? They were still engaged with the Star
Yeah.
Wars
They're
universe.
all dead.
And so I think from that point, they're like, hey, maybe we can tell some stories outside of because like you mentioned, Ahsoka was really pushing like the traditional Star Wars feel.
Right.
That
Yeah.
was one of the things that I think people liked. It felt like it felt like Star Wars.
Yeah.
But I do think they're feeling more comfortable kind of pushing out some different genres of things now, just because they have found an audience to an extent, right? It's not everybody's taste, but that's the cool thing about it is it can draw in different people with different interests, and it's still all the same fandom. So
I agree.
good
Christopher,
stuff.
thanks for hopping in. Seriously, Star Wars, joining from Canada, our northern neighbors. And then you can 100% guarantee Tails will be sweet for sure. Skeptical about Acolyte. Yeah, it's kind of an unknown.
It is. Yeah.
Then Austin says until he sees a trailer, he's not sure about Skeleton Crew being on Mando or Ahsoka level. That's definitely fair until
Yeah.
until we know what's going on. Those are some pretty high bars. I bet it's better than Mando season 3.
You just move the bar down. So
Yeah, lower.
sorry.
And
Yeah.
Andor, yeah, if season 2 can be more like Rogue One. I think that's a safe bet because it's going to lead us up to
Yeah.
Rogue One as far as Andor goes.
Yeah. Because
But
that
that
should be it. It
will,
was only 2 seasons.
yeah, and that's a 25 release, right?
Yeah. They had to push it back a year.
Yeah,
So it'll be 25 now, which is crazy. The
Tony.
fact that at one point it might have been 24
Right. Yeah, it
with
was
all that
gonna
we
be.
have
Yeah,
coming out this year.
Tony's going to be selling off the Acolyte trailer before too long. He's got access.
Oh man.
So let's move from the Acolyte. Let's go on to the Bad Batch season 3.